Hi guys, Ace here. Since it's been a couple of years, maybe as many as 3 or 4 years, I don't know, I lost count since I did a last plushie collection video thing, and I've gotten a lot more plushies since that time, especially Pokemon ones, so I think it's time for an update video. This one's going to be a little different though, because instead of just, first of all, just dumping them all on the floor like the first one I did, which was just supposed to be comedic, or just doing separate videos for each generation, I'm going to combine all the generations into this one video. First, I'm going to start by panning over the boxes that I filled individually with each generation of Pokemon plushies from 1 to 7, just to give you an idea of what kind of numbers we're talking about here, and then I'm going to get right into showing you each and every individual one on this chair that I'm sitting on, all the way from generation 1 to 7. How long that's gonna take, I'm not sure yet. You'll see when you see the video length when this is posted. But anyway, let's begin. Okay, so here we have the box full of Generation 1 plushies. Look at how full that box is. Probably because a lot of it is Pikachu and Eevee plushies, as you can probably notice, all the Eevees and Pikachu's on top. But there's a lot of other Generation 1 Pokemon in there too. Some of them that they're like over 20 years old, and some of them more recent. Anyway, that is definitely by far the largest box out of all of these. You're going to see them get progressively smaller as we move along. So here we have the Generation 2 box. As you can see here, it's like, looks like it's all unknown mostly. It's actually not. It's just the unknown are all on top. But yeah, those unknown, those are all custom made, like all but one of them. I'll get into the story behind that when we actually get into the individual showcase of each one. Here we have the Generation 3 box, as you can see right here. There's a couple of Latios and Latias in there. I have a few Plusle and Minun too, but a few other Generation 3 Pokemon. Here's the Generation 4s. A couple of Riolu and Lucario in there, and Pachirisu. You know, all the lovely little Gen 4s. I really love Gen 4. I'm surprised I have so few plushies from Gen 4. Oh well. Anywho, here's the Gen 5 box right here in the middle here. Big Reshiram on top. There's a Garbodor in there, some Bisharp. Here, look at how they're getting progressively smaller each time. There's the, try to move it so you can see, the lighting's not very good in here. There's the Gen 6, some starters in there like Braixen and Chespin and all that. And this looks like it's a lot more than the others, but it's actually not, because most of the Gen 7 Pokemon plushies I have are big ones, like twice the size of most of my other plushies. For whatever reason, most Generation 5 plushies, Generation 7, Generation 7 plushies they're putting out now are just big. I don't know. Anyway, I'm about ready to get into the main event. Okay, so before we start with the main event here of showing each and every individual Pokemon in my collection, or plush I mean, just a couple of things. One, like before, it is possible that I've missed a couple just because of the fact that both my rec room down here and my room upstairs are kind of cluttered. Things get misplaced sometimes, but I Tried my hardest to get pretty much all of them that I could remember. And the other thing is, for the Generation 7 batch, I'm counting Alolan forms of Generation 1 Pokemon as Generation 7, because I'm taking this as, you know, the Pokemon as they were first publicly presented. You know, like if someone in the 90s, growing up with Generation 1, saw an Alolan Vulpix, they'd be like, hey, it's like a white Vulpix, what the heck is that thing? You know, like, it's different than what it originally is, and there would be questions asked if someone went back in time and showed someone one of those. So yeah, I went on too long rambling about this, so let's just start. First off, we have what almost became the mascot of the franchise, Clefairy. This is one of my older plushies here. It's got that one way back in the 90s, might have been in 99 or maybe even 98, I don't know. Can't remember where I got it or who gave it to me or whatever, but there you go. Still holds up very well despite its incredible age. Here we have the first of many Eevee plushies, this one being a bit more recent, a few years old, maybe 6 or 7 years old, maybe more like 4 or 5, I don't know, can't remember exactly. The generic Eevee, big Eevee. There's another Eevee, sort of a odd little Eevee. You can see head is a little weird looking. It's got a little flower on it, on her head. It actually originally did come with that flower, but it was glued on, so it fell off. So I stitched it back on because, you know, keep it complete. Here is it's supposed to be a shiny Eevee, but it's more yellowish than grayish like it should be, but I saw it at a little convention, I thought it was cute, I wanted it, I bought it. It's very similar to the other Eevee you see here, but just yellow instead of brown. By the way, I'm gonna, in editing, in post, try and keep a counter for how many of these plushies I go through in each generation. This one I got quite recently, maybe just a couple of months ago. It's a big Raichu. I think it's actually older than, much older than when I got it. It's probably secondhand, but in very good shape for that. The tail here was actually flat when I got it, and as you can see here, I stuffed it because it just didn't look right flat. Here is a somewhat recent Flareon plushie. These might even be able to find these in stores still. Very well made there. A little Flareon, a little chibi Pokédoll Flareon, which is a bit older than that other Flareon. I think I got this one at Ottawa Comic-Con 2012. Which is where I also got this little chibi Eevee. It's a little worse for wear. The ear is a little floppy, but it's still intact. I think also at that same, I got this, the little chibi Jolteon. Same kind of model, make, age. Here is one of my very oldest plushies, this teeny tiny little Eevee. At one point it had a little loop here with like one of those things that you can hook onto a backpack, but I cut that off, as well as the tag, when I was very young. This one is probably over 20 years old. And here's a very much more recent version of a very similar idea. This one maybe only be like a year old. Got this one at Hot Topic of all places. Here's a big Eevee plushie that I think I got at Ottawa Comic Con 2015, I think? Or was it 2014? Might have been 2014. Anyway, regardless, big Eevee. Here's a very old Pikachu that some 90s kids may recognize. This was very popular back in 1999. This style of Pikachu plushie, very fluffy, almost like Detective Pikachu. Ironic. Anyway, but yeah, as you can see, the pupils came off, and I tried to replace them with, but didn't really work very well. That happens with age. Here is this Voltorb plushie that was actually made by my good friend Mimi, aka Kitamon Plush. I will post a link to her DeviantArt in the description. You may at some point, if you are interested, order a commission from her. Here's another really old one. This Onyx, yeah, this one, I forget what it's called. Like, it's a derpy Onyx thing, but again, it's very old. Probably got it in 98 or 99. Can't remember exactly when, but yeah, it's starting to show its age. Here's a derpy little Mew. I got like maybe 3 or 4 years ago. Very simple, very chibi. Here is a very old Raichu, which, considering it's like probably close to 20 years old, like some of those others, it's holding up pretty well. And another really old one, this little Charmander. This one, it came in a little transparent Pokeball, plastic Pokeball thing, gimmick. And it has the sparkly tail and belly. They don't really make them like that anymore. I kind of miss some of the classic 90s plushes. Here is one I made myself. It is a Magnemite made from fleece, handcrafted. In case anyone is wondering, I am also doing plushie commissions, although I'm not nearly as good at it yet as Kitamon Plush is. But if you want to request one from me, you can hit me up in a note on DeviantArt, which I will also link in the description, and I will see if I can accommodate you. Here we have a little chibi Vaporeon that I got at the same place and time as the other chibi Evolutions, Ottawa Comic Con 2012. Here's a Jigglypuff plush that I made. I made actually 2 of these. This is the better one of the 2. Here's a really old Pokemon plushie with a gimmick that I haven't seen a Pokemon plushie have in a long time. It's a Lickitung, but it is also a Pokeball. Even has a 2-sided zipper that allows you to see. Again, the 90s got so creative. Here's another old cheapy one that I got this one I think I got at a fair. I won it at a fair. That's why it's so cheapy and derpy and fat looking. Here's a little like keychain Gengar plush that I sewed a mustache onto because of, if you watch any of my really, really old videos on this YouTube channel, I used to make silly plushy videos with characters. One of them was the manager of the store, and he was a Gengar with a mustache. Here we have my second oldest Pokemon plushie I've ever owned. That thing is probably 22 years old now. It's a little Jigglypuff. From the same model and design, but a couple years more recent. Here's my first Mew plush. Again, you see when I was talking about the really old Eevee, this is what the loop would have looked like, but brown. This thing. See that? So yeah. Also I added these little yellow paw pads. I didn't have them originally. Again, people who've watched my really old videos should recognize this guy. Snorlax. Good old Snorlax. Very old, but still in good condition plush. Another really old one. This Staryu. Probably close to 20 years old, if not more. Still very well made. Got beanies in it. This thing's a button covered with fabric. It's very good shape for its age. It's just a cheap little derpy Pikachu. It might be like 8 or 9 years old-ish. Here, this one I got fairly recently at a convention, but again, I think it's actually older than when I bought it. This Dragonair. It's an interesting, sort of almost a corduroy-like material it's made of. It's not corduroy, I don't know, I can't remember what material it's actually called, but regardless, Dragonair. Here is an old classic. Coughing. Again, one of my oldest. About maybe as old as the Snorlax and the Onix and the Clefairy. It's starting to show a little bit of wear and tear. Some of the fabric paint's coming off, but other than that, it's not bad. And here's another one of those little gimmick ones, the ones that turn into a Pokeball. It's a Psyduck that turns into a Pokeball. See? Look, now it's a Pokeball. Here's one of my old favorites. Little Pikachu with that same loop, because it was from that same line. The cheeks were actually just little pieces of felt that were glued on. They fell off, so I filled them in with Sharpie. And here's one of my current favorite plushies, an Eevee that I got at Walmart a number of years ago. Just very well made Eevee. Here is a Vulpix. Got this one I think at Anime North 2014. I added little Christmas stockings to it. If you watch one of my more popular videos on this channel, you'll know why. Here is a little derpy Raichu that I got at another convention not too long ago, a few months ago. Cute little derpy Raichu. This one is a fairly recent one. It's a Growlithe. I got this at Hot Topic. It's, I think, still available in some stores now, probably. Here's a Zubat. Zubat and a Zubat and a Zubat and a Zubat and a Zubat everywhere. This is dumb. Neat. But yeah, it's not overly recent, but not overly old either. This one might be about 10, 12 years old. Still pretty old for a plushie, but I have ones a lot older than this. This one, can't remember exactly how old it is, but fairly old. It's a sparkly winged Butterfree. As you can see, I gave it a little felt scarf modeled after the one Ash gave his Butterfree before it went off to have lovey time with this one. Yeah, I was surprised I actually saw one of these. I just randomly saw it in a toy store and I was like, yes, I want that. The pink Butterfree. The one that never showed up again, just the only pink Butterfree ever. Really, they should have made Butterfree shiny pink. Here's the other manager of the store, Gengar, the original one. Still got the mustache. Oh, and look. Also a gimmick Pokemon, look. Never did that in the show. Here's a somewhat more recent, and I think out of all of them, the best Mew plush I own. Very well made, sitting very cute, a nice little cute little paws, cute little tail, cute little face, just cute all around. I love it. And here we go. My oldest Pokemon plush. The first one I ever got. Little keychain. Little derpy square Pikachu. SpongeBob Pika Pants. Anyway, but yeah, originally it had a voice box thing in there where you squeeze and go, Pika, Pikachu, Pika, Pikachu. But that voice box long ago, I misplaced it and it would have probably been dead by now anyway. Instead, I just sort of filled it with like stuffing where the voice box went. Oh, trying to not have it be off camera here. See? Stuffing. Pika. Here's another old one. Another one with the sparkly stuff on it. Little Meowth. Same gimmick as the Charmander. Came in a translucent Pokeball. Here is a very big Charizard given to me by a friend. Quite a well-made Charizard. Grrr, grrr. Has stiff things in the wings to keep them from flopping around too much. Here is a little Vaporeon keychain thing or backpack chain thing that I got at Hot Topic along with the Eevee that I showed you before, the more recent Eevee, about this size. Here's the slightly lower quality Jigglypuff plush I made. I was just experimenting with this one. I'm much more proud of the other one. This one's a little derpy looking, but I was trying things out. I'm going to show these two side by side because they're almost identical. Electrode plushes, also handmade by me. This one's slightly better. You got the face a little better. But yeah, made from fleece and hand sewn. Another classic. Mewtwo. Remember this guy from my older videos, if you've been around that long? Yeah. Very old. Classic. Now, this one is an interesting one. This one was made by my friend Vicky. I will also post a link to her DeviantArt in the description. She also does plushie commissions. It's a Vulpix. Now, here we're starting to get into the, here we go, here's a more recent store-bought Vulpix. Interesting design there. I love this little Vulpix. And a really big Ninetales. Look at the size of its tail. Look at the size. Look at it. It's huge. And it's an interesting one. A Meowth plush that I got recently and made a garment for. Little tights and a dress just because I felt like it. I wanted a Meowth in a dress plush, so I got a Meowth plush and put a dress on it. Speaking of which, now we are getting into the interesting ones. First off, a Pikachu plush, a fairly recent one, that I added these little jagged ear tips to make it look like Pikachu from the first movie, aka Mewtwo Strikes Back, and the sequel to it, Mewtwo Returns. I love that character. I wish they did more with him. And now, here we go. The cosplay Pikachus. Team Galactic Pikachu. Team Rocket Pikachu. Team Plasma Pikachu. Pikachu Libre. Pikachu Bell. Mario Chew. And Halloween-a-Chew. If you haven't noticed, I'm collecting cosplay Pikachu plushies. I'm hoping to get like all the other the canon cosplay Pikachu set, like Popstar and Rockstar and PhD, and some of the other villainous team ones. I don't know why I'm just obsessed with cosplay Pikachus. Anyway, that pretty much does it for the Gen 1s. On to the Generation 2 batch.